into the Horrorcraft podcast.
Hello, horror fans. It's me, Kylie, and this is another episode of Horrorcraft Reviews. And we are talking about the new movie, The Dead Place, starring the one and only David Howard Thornton, who is also known as Art the Clown from the Terrifier franchise. So let's talk about it. Now, this story follows a troubled high school senior, Isaac. His name is Isaac. He's played by Idris Veliu. Hope I'm saying the last name right. He is plagued by visions of the dead. Because of this, he becomes an outcast at school and causes a ton of tension within his family. And honestly, being a teenager is already hard enough, but being a teenager who sees ghosts, that is a horrible combination, okay? What made it hit even harder is how nobody around him really believed him. Instead of trying to help him, people mostly seemed annoyed or inconvenienced by what he was going through, really. And that adds so much to the loneliness and isolation the movie is trying to show within his character, I feel. His only real friend is Catherine, played by Lexi Graves, who's obsessed with the paranormal and desperately wants to help him. But then this mysterious new kid, who is played by David Howard Thornton, starts pushing Isaac towards the darkness, really, and convincing him to give in to the demon trying to burrow his way inside him, really. Bill Oberst Jr. as the demon presence was creepy as hell, too. So fucking creepy. The whole movie has this constant feeling that Isaac is slowly losing control in his mind, and you're just waiting to see how far things are going to spiral. When I first heard about The Dead Place and found out that David Howard Thornton was actually going to be speaking in this movie, I immediately knew I had to watch it. Most people know him from Terrifier, of course, as Art the Clown, and that he never talks. So hearing him actually get dialogue here was super, super cool. And man, David Howard Thornton's laugh in this movie is absolutely menacing and diabolical. Every time he laughed, it felt unsettling as hell in the best way possible. One thing I really appreciated is the casting for horror fans in this movie. The mom is that's in the movie was actually Gail from the Horror in the High Desert franchise, or the mockumentary interviews that she does in those, which was super cool to see because I love those. And the grandma being played by Beatrice Veliu, who portrayed Freddy's mother, Amanda Kruger, in Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and 5, was such an awesome horror connection. Little details like that make horror fans like myself appreciate these indie projects even more. That's just my opinion. Now, the practical effects were another huge highlight for me. I'm always going to prefer practical gore or effects, creature effects, over CGI. When CGI is okay when it's done right, I'm not completely against it. But this movie delivers all of that. Some of the ghostly visuals and gore moments look genuinely creepy and grimy in the best way possible. The movie it gives the movie personality and makes everything feel more real, of course, and uncomfortable, and I just liked it. Now, David Howard Thornton's acting in this was amazing, which honestly it isn't surprising, but dude, he absolutely steals the scenes in this movie. He has this energy where you can't fully trust him for a second. And sometimes he's super funny and sometimes he's terrifying. Sometimes he's both at once. And that unpredictability made his character way more entertaining to watch. But really, the whole cast was amazing, especially the actor who played Isaac, Idris Veliu. Again, I apologize if I'm not saying your last name correct. But speaking of funny, I actually love the humor throughout this movie too. It balances the darker themes with moments that genuinely made me laugh without ruining the horror atmosphere or the scariness. I think that sometimes can be hard to pull off, but I thought it handled it really well and I enjoyed it. And the pacing and the build up in this movie was so freaking solid. The movie takes time setting up Isaac's struggles and the haunting visions and him seeing stuff and the growing influence of the demon without feeling boring at all. I was in tune the whole time. everything slowly escalates until the final act gets pretty intense. And honestly, the ending was just kind of, the way it went was not what I was expecting at all. I thought the movie was heading in one direction and then it went in a completely different direction. And I always enjoyed that in a movie. But overall, I'd give The Dead Place a solid 7 out of 10. Between the story, the practical effects, David Howard Thornton's performance, and the creepy atmosphere and the humor, I had a really good time with it. You know, if you're into supernatural horror, possession stories, you're a horror fan, want to see people from other horror movies, practical gore, and indie horror with heart behind it, this is one definitely worth checking out. It is available today on BloodStreamTV, so go check it out, go support it. And thank you, Ted, for the opportunity to screen and review this. But this has been another round of Horrorcraft Reviews. Stay weird and stay spooky, and we will see you next time. Bye!